GY6 actually is a ministry that started as a branch of Iron Men of God to shine His light on our first responders. We understand the complexities and the difficulties of a first responder life. Being a first responder for 35 years, I understand what that is. And we wanted to bring the gospel to law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMTs, and the first responders out there in the field. We absolutely feel 100% that the gospel is the way to having a balanced, overall well life. What is the beginning process of the film? For me, it's nothing what I thought it was going to be because I don't have that vision as our director, Brooke Hill, had, which is extremely amazing. I would have put together a couple stick figure men and put it together and put it on the board. So I'm so happy for what we have.
This was my first time that I ever directed anything, and I was very nervous that I was not going to do a good job, but I was so blessed to be able to have people around me who were amazing at what they did.
I got a message from the director, Brooke Hill, which I've worked with extensively in the past, and she mentioned me a project that she was very excited for. She told me the story behind it. We met up on a coffee shop and talked extensively about what this project is and what it represents. I got very excited for the project, so I jumped on board. I signed up as the producer. We got ourselves a DP, and we slowly started building the team.
Emmanuel, he found a lot of the crew, and just like their openness and their creativity really allowed me to kind of relax. They allowed me to not be so stressed, and they really helped this film be the best that it could be.
Well, I was trying to do a restart in my acting career. Then I saw something, GY6. GY6, what is that all about? So when I read the introduction of what it was, I was taken by the fact that it was a film that had to do with PTSD for first responders. And I thought to myself, that sounds great. It's needed for sure, and I was working at a hospital at that time. So I said, yeah, I want to be a part of that.
What made me want to get involved with it is because when I read the log line of the film, it sounded like something that could have some type of impact, and it sounded like something good to be a part of. So I thought, let's try it. Let's try to go for it, and I was fortunate enough to get the role.
I came across the casting through Facebook, which I am rarely on Facebook, so I definitely feel like it was a God thing. I had heard of Iron Men of God before at a church that I had attended, and so reading the description, I was just drawn to the work of it. And for me, being an actor, I love being able to use my acting to do any production that I think, shares God's light and glorifies Him. And so it just sounded like an incredible experience. And so I figured I would love to submit for it. And then now we're here.
I got to spend hours with each of the actors and the actresses, and they were just amazing. They were so professional. They were so amazing. And I found out a lot of them really took this part because of what they saw in the writing in the part. They knew that this was going to make a difference for our first responders.
When I was talking with Dave and doing the character development with him, he gave me a lot of insight on how things are on the civilian side of criminal investigation, being a police officer, what you go through on a daily basis. Now, as a military police officer, occasionally you might have some of that stuff, but it's totally different on the civilian side.
When I finally realized, how much this is a role that really I needed to dive into and wanted to honor well. And so being able to speak to Dave, he was able to share his testimony with me and just let me know logistically, first of all, because of the scenes that we were shooting, I wanted to find out what the environment is like, how I should be thinking and behaving, and everything that went into my thought process. And with Shelley, it was so incredible to get to meet her and talk to her as well, because she was able to really share the burdens that female police officers have and the toll that it's taken on their families and their personal lives, and also able to share her testimony with me. They were so gracious with their time, and it was just, I'm really grateful that I got to get a glimpse into that.
There are so many blessings in this film. Like Dave Ogden and his wife Shelley, they donated their house for us to be able to use it for the climax of our film. And their poor home was just in disarray. And I know that must have stressed them out immensely.
The first night filming was, this is not a world I live in. I do live in a world that's chaos, so I'm accustomed to that. I'm not accustomed to my house being chaos. For me, it was exciting because, getting to see it come together. It was a world I don't live in, a world I'm not familiar with, but as I got to see some of the scenes, it was definitely, it was a world that I felt before, which is what I wanted the film to capture, which is really cool. Whenever we can do something that is just bigger than ourselves, it's always gonna prosper, it's gonna do well. And so it was such a good time talking to everybody on the set. Getting an opportunity to pray with everybody before was so important to me to do. So, and I appreciate you guys letting me do that. It was just so amazing.
So again, I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming out tonight and supporting GY6, supporting this film. We're so excited to be able to share it with you tonight, and I just can't wait to see how you like it. So without further ado, enjoy the film.